Hey, and welcome back to your posture and core strengthening sequence. So for today's video, I'm gonna recommend that you have this foam roller because we're gonna be able to feel the spine on the foam roller better, as opposed to just lying flat on the floor. So let's begin lying down on the foam roller. So this is, in my opinion, a really important tool to have in your yoga prop closet. If you don't have one, there's a link on my website, yogawithtim.com, just to like an Amazon link to where you can get a decent foam roller. Okay, so as you get started, we're just gonna start by finding neutral with the pelvis. So as you exhale, flatten your lower back down towards the roller. And as you inhale, arch your lower back. Tip your pubic bone away from your chest so that you feel space across your lower back. And then as you exhale, flatten the lower back down into the roller. And as you inhale, arch through the lower back. Do that one more time, just starting to warm up your hips, your lumbar spine. And then bring the pelvis into a neutral position. So I also want you to feel in between your shoulder blades as you take your arms to your side. If it feels like one side is trying to squeeze more into the foam roller, you can take the arms a little more to the side so you can feel this. So I want you to feel like equally your shoulder blades have equal space in between the spine, and so basically where the spine is touching the foam roller, both shoulder blades are even on the back. Then take your arms up to the ceiling. And without your hips twisting side to side at all, take your right arm forward and your left arm back. Now stabilize in your rib cage, not letting your rib cage wiggle with your arm. Bring your arm back up and slowly change sides. Now at the same time, elongate your spine along the roller, like your hips are being pulled towards your feet, back of your head is reaching away from your hips, and change sides, but don't keep the chin level to the ceiling as you do it. So the chin isn't pushed up, not tucked down. And change sides. Then bring your arms to your side, plant your fingertips down. Then without your hips twisting, engage your core and bring your right leg into tabletop position. Change sides, bring your left leg into tabletop position. Change sides, not letting yourself wiggle side to side at all. And change sides. Then change sides, bring the right leg up. Now hold, elongate the spine, engage your abdominals, and then push the right heel forward. And rebend. And push your right heel forward. And rebend. One more time, push forward. And then lower your leg down. Change legs. Use the exhalation to extend the leg. And then rebend that knee, set that foot down. Stretch your right leg out along the floor. And so this will be a little warm up for your iliopsoas, which if these muscles get tight, they're gonna pull on your lumbar spine and really affect your whole postural chain. So then rebend that knee and then slide the heel out, but at the same time, reach your buttocks out of your lower back. Again, bend the knee and slide the heel away from you, stretching the buttocks out of the lower back without tucking your pelvis, so you have your neutral curve in your lower back. It's not flattened, it's not arched. Now as you're reaching through the heel, take a deep breath in. Fill your side ribs. Feel your spine lengthen. Hold the breath for just a moment at the top. And then as you exhale, let it go. Rebend that knee, and we'll change legs. So as you exhale, slide the left heel, and slowly rebend. Rebend. Last one. Now take a deep breath in, fill your lungs all the way. Pause at the top of the in-breath. Really reach through that heel, feel the whole body stretch. And then as you exhale, let it all out. And feel the front of your hip flexor lengthen through your big toe. All right, then bend both knees and roll over to your side. Lie down onto your back. And then take your block straight up into the air. So now you have the imprint of when the foam roller was on your spine. And I want you to feel that the spine is still long like that as you slowly take your arms back. Imagine the ribs still hugging in and down onto the roller. And then bring your arms back up. Again, slowly take the arms back. And then back up. Take your arms back as you slide your right heel out along the floor. And then lengthen through your tail. You're not tucked, but you're not arched either. And back up. Change sides. Back up. Then bring both legs into table. So it's really important before we start strengthening that we've created length, that we've created this postural integrity so that we're strengthening a healthy spine. So as you lower your right knee away from you, keep your abdominals in. Bring it back up. Change sides, lower the left leg away. Back up, change sides, and now keeping the buttocks stretch out of your back, see if you can push your right heel forward. Back up, change sides, and 2 more rounds. Think of your front ribs knitting in and down as you stretch the arms back. And then feel your low abs engage and sink in towards the front of your spine. Good. Bring it all back up. Set your feet down. Then open up your arms to the side. And with your feet the width of your mat, just let your knees swivel over to the right as you look to your left. Change sides, knees over to the left as you look to your right. Come back to center. Then take the arms wide and press the backs of the knuckles into the floor. Bring your legs into tabletop position. So slowly start to take your knees over to the right. Then engage your abs and come back to center. Now, how far over should you go? As you take your knees over to the left, as soon as you feel the right shoulder wanting to lift, you'll just pause there and then come back. And then over to the right. Back to center. And over to the left. back to center. We'll keep going side to side here. Now, really important that you don't let your neck shrink and crunch into your shoulders. So feel your neck stays long, the chest and shoulders stay open, the hips are reaching out of your lower back. And before you go to bring the knees back to center, you should feel your abdominals squeeze in, like almost like you're trying to wring out a towel to turn back to center. All right, then curl up towards your knees, take your arms forward. And now as you hug the sides of the rib cage in and down, feel your low abs engage, stretch your arms back, but keep the ribs hugged in. A little tuck in the chin in this position, and then bring your arms forward again. Come up a little higher. Stretch your arms back, keeping the side ribs hugged in. And then bring your arms forward again. Stretch your arms back, keeping the ribs hugged in. And then lower down. Crunch up one more time. Hug it all in. And then push your heels forward away from you. But make sure that as you do, your buttocks is stretching out of your lower back and your abdominals are hugging into your spine. And rebend. And then push forward. And rebend. Push forward. And now see if you can take your arms back, keeping the side ribs hugged in. And then come back in. And reach back. Come back in, lower the head down, give the neck a break. Curl back up, reach out. As you reach, keep pressing the buttocks out of the back. And rebend, head down, crunch up. 3 more times. And lower your feet down. Then take Baddha Konasana legs, soles of the feet together, knees apart. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling with your hands interlaced. And slowly start to stretch your arms back. Reach through your hips out of your lower back. Stretch from your side ribs through your knuckles. Then bring your knees together and come up to seated. All right, so come onto your hands and your knees now. Place your hands right underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And so we're gonna work the core with moving the limbs out to the side now. So we were doing just this more linear, but now as we work into abduction, where we're taking the limb away from the midline, the important thing here is going to be not to let your spine sink or twist as you're doing it. So for example, I should be able to balance a block on my sacrum lower back as I do this whole exercise and not have it tip over. So we'll see, here we go. Take a knee out to the side. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so you can do that at home. You can practice with the block on you. Or you can just commit to that imagery. So let's find neutral first, really important. Find your neutral. So as you inhale, arch your lower back, reach your heart forward. As you exhale, round your back and look back. Do that 2 more times. And then come into neutral. So what's neutral? It's right in between your fully arched and your fully rounded position. You're not in the back bend, you're not rounded, you're right in between, right in your midpoint. Okay, now maintaining that, as you press down through your left knee, bring your right knee out to the side, and then slowly lower it back down. And then right knee out to the side, slowly lower back down. Knee out to the side. Now let's see if we could take the left arm out to the side at the same time, but still keep your middle hugged in and up. Don't let it sink. So in your lower back, it's going to want to sink. Keep the neck long, slowly come back to center, and lift out to the side again. Slowly back. Starting point, and we'll do that 4 more times. And we'll change sides now. So start with just the knee on the other side. Take the knee away from the midline without letting your right side belly sink, and lower it down. Lift away from the midline, lower down, and now let's move with the knee and the arm at the same time. And a couple more times. All right, good. Okay, next, before we do this next set of exercises for your core and to strengthen your posture, I want to teach you about re-emphasizing how to engage your bandhas, your Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. So each time that we do an abdominal movement, there's going to be the tendency for your spine to want to sink one way or the other. The way that we're going to stabilize it is through this action called Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. What that is it's an energetic lift from the pelvic floor and then from your belly, drawing in and up. Now at first, when you're first learning Mula Bandha, you can practice squeezing all the muscles of the pelvic floor, almost like a Kegel. So you could squeeze those muscles. You can even squeeze your anus to help, and squeeze as much as you can, and then relax it. We'll just do that a couple times. Squeeze the muscles of your pelvic floor. Squeeze your anus. Pretend like you're trying to stop yourself from going to the bathroom midstream. Squeeze, and then release it. One more time, squeeze. And as you're squeezing, you'll feel that naturally your belly draws in. Release it. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So now if you're in a situation where you can feel you're completely losing the control of your abdominals and your spine to stabilize, you can add a more aggressive squeeze and an exhalation from the pelvic floor, but eventually you want it to just be an energetic lift. Like you can feel that you're drawing energy up to the very center of your pelvic floor, up your spine. So the next one we'll re-emphasize is the Uddiyana Bandha. So let's practice this. And I'm going to lift my shirt, but still keep the mic going somehow. I'll do one of these things. This is gonna be weird. Okay, it's getting weird. So you don't have to do this at home, but I want you to see my belly. I'll show you from the side. So as I let my belly totally relax, and I inflate it, and then as I exhale, I'm going to draw the abdomen back and then scoop it up as much as I can. And then release. Okay, now when you're doing that, it's confusing because you don't want to actually push your lower back. You just want to have the lower back in its length, but you're not trying to push back at all into the lower back. So you're scooping up the front of the spine, if that makes more sense. So here we go. Get this all situated again. So as I inhale, let the belly fully inflate And then exhale, pull back, and up. And then let it go. So it's like a vacuum, like you're sucking it up, and you should feel actually like you can feel the lumbar spine elongate as you do that Uddiyana Bandha. So the first one is called Mula Bandha, energetic lift from the pelvic floor. Second is Uddiyana Bandha. Now you don't do either of those as aggressive as when we're doing the squeezings and the pullings, but it's the memory of that feeling, like you're feeling yourself scoop up as you do it. So now let's put it into action on your hands and your knees. Come into neutral. So if I pull so aggressively to where I round my back, that's too much Uddiyana. You just want to draw it up the front of the spine, scooping up. So already start to draw energy up from the center of the pelvic floor, scoop up like you're vacuuming from the belly up towards the heart, and then push your right heel back behind you without losing those actions. Breathe. And now see if you can extend your left arm. So now just the simple act of stretching your arm and your leg there's much more going on. It's a more the pose is more energized as opposed to just, there, I did it. So we're actually moving ourselves from the center action. Okay, so let's initiate the pelvic floor, then the vacuum of the belly as we push the left heel and stretch the right arm. And then also elongate your spine at the same time. Lower your hand and your knee. Change sides. Lower your hand and your knee. Change sides. One more round. And change sides. Okay, cool. So now that you got all that, we're gonna try a little bit more advanced of an exercise. And we're gonna do this with, you'll need like a blanket or a towel. So we'll fold the mat up a bit. And if your wrists start to get tired, you can do this on your forearms. But otherwise, with your hands down, you'll slide this blanket or towel right underneath your knees. Okay, so then you'll not tuck, but not arch, find neutral, draw energy up from the pelvic floor, and then slide your knees back. And then to come up, now you know, draw the energy up from the pelvic floor, scoop, haul out the belly, draw up towards your heart, and then slide your knees back in. Slide the knees away from you. And slide back in. Now we'll just do 40 of these. No, I'm kidding. Now make sure when you go to pull back in, it's not coming from your neck and your shoulders. All right, then we're gonna try with the elbows down and pulling the knees towards the chest, but with the feet onto the, what's this thing called? Blanket. So for this one, I have to pike the hips up a little. So I push down into the forearms and then pull in and stretch out. Last two. Last one. And then lower your hips down, Sphinx pose. I had to hold back from cursing because it was so hard. Okay, cool. So really important again that as you're doing these movements, if you're seeing in your mirror that your neck and shoulder, good idea to do this in front of your mirror. First time you try them, if you're seeing your neck and your shoulders crunching up, then do less. More important to isolate and get it in your core, train your posture instead of doing more, harder exercises and doing them the wrong way. So now let's just stretch out a little bit what we worked on squeezing in so much. So we'll do a little low lunge here with your right foot forward, your left knee down. And change sides. And change sides. Now this time, start with your pelvic floor and your lower belly action. Lift from the pelvic floor, scoop up the belly, and then as you push into the center of the right heel, lift the back leg up. So you should have a new awareness coming into the pose that it's from your bandha. And if you did it well, your right hip should automatically track in. A cue that I often give is to squeeze the right outer hip back and in, and that's just to get you, because when the hip turns on, it helps naturally to facilitate that bandha. So it's just another way of saying the same thing. Now feel your spine lengthen. Scoop up from the belly to reach the heart forward. And change sides. So with the back knee down, feel your length, your chest open, draw energy from the pelvic floor, vacuum from the belly up towards the heart, and then as you push into the center of the left heel, lift your back knee up. And you should feel a whole different stretch than you would normally feel if you're doing it from working your posture muscles from down low in your core. Now, important when you've learned this pulling up action, there's a tendency then to hold the breath at the top. So see if you can still breathe evenly, but still feel that you're being lifted from the root of your spine. Then lower your knee down, stretch back into child's pose. Come into downward facing dog on blocks or hands on the floor. Then come to a seated position. Lie down onto your back. And take ankle to knee pose. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, hug in. Change the cross. Uncross that. Then you're going to need your foam roller And as you stretch your right leg out along the floor, you'll bring your left shin over onto this, excuse me, foam roller. Then stretch your, I think that's the last one, arms out like you're on your side sleeping. So this leg goes up on the foam roller, knee right up in line with the hip, other leg extended, Tadasana-like alignment. And then from here, you're just going to spin open and stretch your arm out. And bring your arm back. And let's change sides now. Take the roller to the other side. Line yourself up like mountain from your extended leg. Right knee up in line with your hip. Stretch the arms out. And then twist open. And that one feels really good. Okay, come back to center and lie down onto your back. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And let your whole body completely relax. And bend your knees. Roll over to your side and press up. All right, so thank you so much for joining me in the posture series today, posture and core series. So hopefully you're gonna start to feel that your strong core muscles can help to support you so that you're seated upright more. And then in all of your standing poses, you're gonna start to feel that turning on to support you. So whenever you go to tip over, instead of going with poor posture, you're gonna remember, oh yeah, I know what it was like to be on the foam roller. I remember what it was like to be able to move my leg around and still have a neutral spine, a long spine. So this work is super important for every yogi. I'm so glad that you've taken the time to join me through this series. Have a great day.